Hey, sports fans, PPZ Sports Chaos. And you know what? You know we love football, but we got to start with baseball for one reason. The witch is dead. Heim Bloom is gone. This is the greatest day in my year so far. Heim Bloom is no longer in charge of the Red Sox. Goodbye, cheapskates. See you later. Spend money again. Find talent. Let's win one more time. Are you happy about this, PB?
Yeah, of course. Hopefully the
Oh.
state's be relevant very, very soon.
By the way, I think the topper was Tuesday afternoon. It was the Yankees Red Sox. Yes, I get it. It was a makeup game for the night before. 10,000 people. That's it.
And they
That's
got
Tampa,
swept.
that's Tampa Bay territory.
Yeah, and they got swept.
John Henry, Tom Wernick, you can't take that. You're done. If you do something, if you do nothing, you're done in Boston. So good for
I
them.
remember, I remember we were growing up, they sold out like 20 years in a row or something ridiculous, right? It was like the longest.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes. I mean, you can't even get college kids to go to that game. Give me a break. Come on. If you're going to college, it's a sunny day on a Tuesday in September in Boston with like 22 colleges. Yes, if you put that ticket online, I'm going to buy it for $12 if you gave it to me for $12.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. All right, let's talk some football. We're going to start college football. Last weekend, we had some interesting games. Obviously, the big one was Texas beat Alabama in Alabama. So apparently Texas is for real, right, BB?
Yeah, yeah. And they were one of my picks for the CFP this year. And last week I said that, I took the 7 points, of course, but I said they really need to win outright. Otherwise, my prediction is going to go south. So I was glad to see them win. They look really good. They look good. They played good football last weekend.
The other thing was Texas A&M played Miami, and what happened?
Miami took it to them pretty good.
Hopefully the Canes are back. We'll see. We'll see if the Canes are back. They played Boom Cookman tonight. I think they're like a 42-point favorite or something like that, but we'll see what happens with that one. All right. The other big story is Deon. Colorado won again. No surprise. We all thought they would beat Nebraska because Nebraska's been struggling for years. Matt Rule hopefully will change that team in a couple of years. But all of a sudden now they're playing this week against, and I
Colorado
just
State.
Colorado State. That's right. We're going to pick that game. The Colorado State came out and said something against Deon again, which I don't. You know what? It's okay. Deon, why are you wearing an interview with a hat and sunglasses? He's right. Take the sunglasses off, man. Be respectful. But anyways, why did coaches fire him up? Because when they fire him up, it fires his team up, right?
Agreed, 100%. Some good talent there too.
All right. The last thing, PB, I'll let you add if you have any other college football. The Pac-12 is suddenly relevant. We were calling them the four-pack at the beginning of the year, but they've got like 8 teams in the top 25. It's unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, we weren't calling them the four pack because they suck. We were calling them the four pack because all the schools are leaving.
Correct.
Like
But we
disintegrating.
also, in the back of our mind, we thought, well, they might not be that good either.
Yeah, no, but still, they're not. You don't think of the teams from that conference necessarily absorbing the top 25 like you do the SEC or Big Ten or even Big 12 in some cases. So, you think of them more like kind of like the ACC in terms of the number of teams that can be ranked and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
Is there anything in college football last week that startled you?
I don't know what startled you, me starting again 4-0 against the spread, but hey,
Well, as I say, every squirrel finds a nut, right? So, anyways,
hey, I found a nut all last year, so we'll see.
let's move to the NFL. Give me your 3 takeaways from the NFL last weekend.
Oh, we're doing that before we even do our picks for college? Okay.
Oh, yeah, well, let's go back to picks.
Yeah,
Give
let's
me
do our
the,
picks.
we'll go with our foreplay. College foreplay. Girls, get ready for the college foreplay. All right, the first one we got is number 3, Florida State. Comes up here to BC in Hurricane Lee. I won't mention anything about being my ex-wife's name, but anyways, Hurricane Lee and Florida State, what happens?
Here's the only thing. I've watched Florida State play. They look good. I watched the whole entire game the first week against LSU.
I believe they're averaging 55 points a game. I think I
Yeah,
read.
right. But here's the thing, and this is where you might be able to come in and help me make this pick, but I don't know squat about BC except what games they won and the scores, but I haven't seen them on the field playing football. But based on the scores and the teams they've played, I have to say that they're struggling. And I think Florida State can come in and dominate this. So in college, you tend to see these high scores from these dominating teams, like 50, 55 to 10 or something like that, or even if it's like 45 to 13 or something, I could very easily see that in this game. So I'm going to lay the 26. I think it's a trap to try and go the other way with BC, but Florida State's the pick here, minus 26.
What did G Money take?
I think G Money also took Florida State.
Okay. I will say this 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gust is going to be a factor. No one scores 40 points in this game, but at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I think BC stays within 26. It may be 28 to nothing. I mean, 28 to 7, but they stay within 26.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Z's going BC.
Because of the weather. Simply because of the weather. There's a hurricane coming in, and unfortunately, it's not the Miami Hurricanes, but there you go.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's go to Tennessee, Florida, a conference rivalry again, another match in interconference. Yep. 6.5 for Tennessee. What do you think?
Yeah, and obviously Florida is not the same team they were last year by any stretch, but
nor is Tennessee.
But and Tennessee's legit, I think. But I still think this conference matchup, it's on the road, it's in the swamp, you're getting points at home, right? So if I can take Florida with almost a touchdown here, 6.5 points, I'm going to lean that way. This could be a trap for me, but I'm going to go Florida and take the points at home.
I'm with you. I think I don't see the Tennessee retaining enough talent to make this game a 7-point game. So I'm with you on the road.
And G has Tennessee.
Okay, so you and I got Florida. All right, Colorado State, Florida, Colorado, a rivalry game. By the way, game day on ESPN is there on campus at 9 a.m. in the morning. This is not a game till 7 p.m. that time. So it means 6 a.m. in the morning, the game day show starts out there. All right. I'm sorry, Colorado's a 2-hour difference. So 7 a.m. You know what? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think the euphoria can last for that long.
Right, and those are the fans, not the players.
But players going to make guest appearances on the show. That's the way it works.
Oh, all right. Well, again, that's a long ass day. Yeah, I think this is another trap that I just don't want to fall into. I think the line is inflated, trying to get people to go on the side of Colorado State.
23 points.
At 23, right? But it's at CU. They've been playing great football in the first couple of weeks. They've obviously beaten legitimate teams, at least, in the first week against TCU.
Yeah, TCU.
At least against TCU. Last week, maybe not so much against Nebraska, but I think the 23 is a trap number, and they're just trying to get people to lay in with Colorado State. So I'm going to avoid that trap and take Colorado. And I'll
what's G Money? What G Money got?
G Money took Colorado State, believe it or not.
Ooh, you know what? I'm tending to lead the Colorado State because of everything you just said on the other side. But I am going to go Colorado. I think Deon finds a way to get these guys to 4 touchdowns. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Last game is Pitt versus West Virginia. The backyard brawl, as it's commonly known. What do you think there? It's a 1-point game. West Virginia is a favorite home team.
Right. And that's probably the reason why they're favored, because they're at home. I think Pittsburgh's the better team here. If this game was in Pittsburgh, it'd probably be a 4.5-point spread or more. So I'm going to take Pitt on the road in this one.
Oh, what's G Money got?
G Money has West Virginia.
I got West Virginia as well. So Pat McAfee called me up and told me to take it.
All right. I'm the only one on Pitt with that one then, I guess. Okay.
All right. Let's go to the NFL. So takeaways from last weekend. There was a lot of takeaways, but what are your 3 takeaways?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk all night about the whole New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers situation. So
But that's one. It has to be one.
it has to be one. The Jets, all the hype, this whole entire offseason, it was all predicated on their defense and getting Aaron Rodgers, right? And Aaron Rodgers, while they don't have, besides Garrett Wilson, they don't have stud receivers, but they had receivers certainly that have worked with Lazard and Cobb that have worked with Rodgers in the past. So you could see that offense becoming a formidable offense on top of that great defense.
Well, maybe not studs, but handpicked by the quarterback. That's a big thing, right?
Right, exactly. So now you got those same guys that are, definitely not your stud type receivers with Zach Wilson throwing to them now. They're gonna have to rely very heavily on their Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall 1-2 punch at running back to be decent, and rely on that defense. But the question is how much is that defense going to be on the field, and what are they going to look like in late in games in the fourth quarter and stuff like that. So I just think this has completely turned the Jets' hopes of any type of playoff completely upside down. You and I both have them out of the playoffs. I know G Money picked them to make the playoffs, but this just kind of puts the stamp on the fact that they're not making the playoffs this year. So that's storyline number one for me.
All right. Yeah, that was my storyline number one.
Yeah.
Number two, what do you get for number two?
Number two is 24 hours right before that on the same exact field. What we saw from the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants, a shutout on Sunday Night Football, completely annihilated them. The Giants looked like they had no idea what they were even doing out there, especially Daniel Jones and company, right? And it just shows
Daniel Jones looked like during that interview of Adam Gase when he was a Jets head coach getting interviewed.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. So that was my other storyline, and then my third one is really it's the same. It's all from the AFC North. It's either the Cleveland Cincinnati game or the San Francisco Pittsburgh game, because the San Francisco Pittsburgh game just showed how dominant of a team San Francisco really is, just kind of like we saw with Dallas as well.
Right.
But then the Cleveland Cincinnati game has left me completely puzzled about what really happened there. Is that just Cincinnati's offense really just not being on the right page and not figuring stuff out, or is that a dominating Cleveland defense? And I don't believe either one of those things. I think Cleveland's defense is not that dominating, although they're very good. And I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals offense is that bad. I just think they had a bad day, and they just need to put that behind them. And they need to go in this weekend against Baltimore at home and show that they can, overcome all that misery that happened on that day.
So I read some stats. Cleveland's actually fared pretty well against Cincinnati defensively, maybe not in the win-loss column, but defensively since Joe Burrow's been there. So I think, much like Bill Belichick had Sam Darnold's number, some reason or other, Cleveland has Joe Burrow's number. On the other hand, the other thing that concerns me a lot, no matter what the team is playing them, the rumor out of the draft in 2019 or 20, going into 20 season, Joe Burrow's hands were too small. And clearly, when you saw some of the throws he made, literally he threw one ball 90 yards sideways. And I'm like, what just happened? That's his grip. So if he can't play in poor weather, he's in trouble. The little hands theory is true. It's very correct. And I'm very concerned right now about Joe Burrow. If the weather, and look at the weather right now on the East Coast, it's expected to be like this for a long time. Rain. Joe Burrow may be in trouble because of his little hands and wet weather. That's my story.
And that's the same syndrome that Kenny Pickett has, right?
Little bit, yeah, exactly.
Little hands. Yeah.
I will say this. My last thing is the Pats were more impressed. I know they didn't win the game. They had a horrible first quarter. They gave up 2 turnovers for touchdowns. Other than that, I think they outplayed the Eagles. So if they figure out the offensive syndrome this year, the Pats could be problematic for some teams. Now, especially with Aaron Rodgers out, they're no longer the 4th favorite, I think, in the AFC East. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted them to go 6-11. I know you have them more closer to like an 8-9, 9-8 kind of thing. After what
7 to 12, 7 to 10.
7 to 10. I think after seeing their game against the Eagles, though, if I had a repick, I would bump that up another game, which would put them at 7 to 10, or maybe even 2 to 8-9. I think that's realistic. And I think, yes,
Well, I
that,
hadn't gotten swept by the Jets, so now I don't.
right. And now, right. And now they also can very easily finish ahead of the Jets, I think, in that division.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I've been waiting for a moment. I don't want to brag. How about the Cowboys? They were freaking awesome. I know we got some Giants fans out there, and you're thinking that you had a potential Super Bowl contender. The Giants, Cowboys mauled you guys. They were all, and Dak had a so-so game. That defense is legitimate. I'm afraid for the rest of the league this year.
Yeah, and I love my prediction NFC Championship game, San Francisco Dallas. I think that will be a classic, awesome game. You're talking about two teams right now that, to me, are separating themselves as a class of the NFC for sure.
By the way, Brock Purdy, he continued without a miss, right? Right on,
Exactly.
right on schedule.
Yeah.
He's the point guard of point guards. He's Magic. He's Isaiah. He's Tiny Archibald. He is the point guard of that team, right? So,
and another point too that we mentioned these games, right? We said the class of the NFC, Dallas, San Francisco, right? Dallas and San Francisco both went out, both dominated, showed their stuff. Who do we have as our top three teams in the AFC? Basically, it's Kansas City, it's Buffalo, and it's Cincinnati. And all three of those teams lost. So kind of an interesting shift there. Everyone talking up AFC and talking down NFC.
good
Something
point.
keep-
Good
keep
point.
an eye on. Yeah.
All right, let's make some picks. Let's do our pick six. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Vegas, who had a nice win last week against the Bills, who have to rebound after that loss to the Jets. What do you think?
Yeah, and Vegas goes in and wins on the road in Denver. Buffalo dropped that ugly game to the Jets in New York. I think they bounce right back. I think this team is going to look unbelievable this week. And I think the Raiders kind of think, oh, we're pretty good. We won on the road. We beat Denver, divisional game, whatever. They're going to get smoked. I'm taking Buffalo all day long in this game.
I am as well. I mean, Bills Mafia is going to be rolling, right?
Yeah. And I think
What G-Money got?
G-Money's got Buffalo as well.
Yeah, that's easy. All right, Ravens, Bengals, at Bengals. What do
Yeah.
you think?
And for the same reason, here we just talked about Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City, and picking that game. All of those teams lost. I don't think Cincinnati starts off this season 0-2. Baltimore, they played Houston, whatever. It was at home in Baltimore. They beat them handily, but not a big deal there. I think Cincinnati bounces back and just has a ridiculous day. So I'm taking the Bengals.
I got Bengals as well. What G-Money got?
G does is too.
All right, this is an interesting game.
Yeah.
KC goes to the Jacksonville Jags.
Right.
This is very interesting.
It is.
KC has been 0-2 in like forever, right? So what do you think?
Right. And Jacksonville, they didn't blow out Indy. I mean, Indy kind of hung in there with them. I mean, it was closer than people thought. I still love Jacksonville's talent on offense. I think their defense, though, won't be able to keep pace with Kansas City, and Kansas City is going to be all fired up after the loss. They got Chris Jones back. They got
Travis Kelce back.
probably back too as well. So I think Kansas City goes in and says, "Screw this stuff. We're going 16-1 this year, and this is the beginning of that." So I got Kansas City all day long here.
I got you as well. I'm going KC.
All right. G-Money does too.
He does? Okay. All right, here's another one. Seattle, who showed crap last weekend.
Yeah.
And Detroit Lions, who G-Money thinks is a Super Bowl contender. What do you think?
Yeah, and I'm sticking with my theory here on bounce back games. I mean, every team I've picked so far lost last week, and I'm going to do the same thing with Seattle. I think Detroit went and got their thing out. They did what they had to do on Thursday night. They won in Kansas City. They're all high and mighty because of that. They come back home, maybe thinking they're better than they are. And here you have a Seattle team that got smoked by what you and I have as a pretty lowly Rams team. I think Seattle Pete Carroll's not going to let this crap happen. And we know there's talent there, especially offensively with that wide receiver room, Geno Smith, and you still have, Kenny Walker running back. And I think this team's going to explode on Detroit. It will be a shootout. I think Detroit can score too, but Seattle wins this by, a field goal on the road in Detroit. So I'm taking Seattle.
I'm guessing G-Money has Detroit.
He does have Detroit.
Yeah. I honestly don't want to make this pick. I really don't, because I have Seattle winning that division. Bad move by me. But I think Detroit pulls this game out. I got a funny feeling, only because it's at home. Only because it's at home. Because last week was at KC. This is the first home game. That fandom is going to be crazy after beating them. I think the momentum of the fans carries Detroit to the win. So I got Detroit.
It's a good pick.
All right, let's go Jets, who are in a lot of trouble. But as you said, they won the game and the defense looked awesome. They made 4 turnovers against Buffalo, right? They made Josh Allen look silly. They play the Cowboys, a guy that can look silly against a tough defense. Dak Prescott, I hate to admit it. What do you think of this game?
Everything that you said, I don't really care. And I have no comment to make on this game or no analysis. I'm just taking Dallas. Period.
Smart move by him as well. What does G Money have?
He actually took Dallas as well.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Last, we get your home team, the Dolphins, coming up here to your old home team, the Patriots. Patriots, again, they lost last week. I thought after the first quarter, they looked pretty damn good. They held the Eagles to what, 9 points after the first quarter? What do you think?
Oh man, this is a tough one. It really is.
I've gone back and forth 20 times.
I've gone back and forth 20 times as well. And I really like I said, I love what I saw out of the Patriots last week. I think Miami's offense, you can make an argument, is even better than Philly's offense.
I would agree.
And it's still, there's no weather issue. Well, we might get some remnants of whatever, but it's not going to be crazy. It's not like Miami coming up in January or December, right?
Yep.
I think I don't want to do this. If I wanted to pick with my heart, I'd keep this hat on. But because I'm going to pick with my head, I'm going to put this hat on, and I'm taking the Dolphins.
What's G Money at?
G Money has the Patriots.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so tempted. But until the Patriots show me a complete game, which the Dolphins played last week, maybe not on defense, but until the Patriots could play a complete game, I gotta go Dolphins in this game.
All right.
All right, my man. Anything else we want to add this week?
No, just our pick 6 is going strong in our college football play. We'll just keep coming at you every week.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.